Today we will talk about articulations and phrasing. Remember that the brain is the center of all activity, so it sends signals to our playing apparatus in order to create sound. Using imagination at the same time helps us to remember the technique as well as the physical gestures to make beautiful music. The goal is to play with artistic personality. There are 3 staccato sounds that students learn while using Succeeding at the Piano, Piano Success. The basic staccato, or number 1 staccato, is also nicknamed the woodpecker touch release. Another staccato, or number 2 staccato, is nicknamed the push-off touch release. The third staccato, or number 3 staccato, is named the kick-off touch release. Professional pianists use these physical gestures to make staccato sounds of all different volumes of sound, intensity, delicacy, and duration. Students of all ages can learn these as well. I will take you through various pieces which use the number 3 staccato gesture called the kickoff. Sometimes I will exaggerate the sound and the different physical gestures so that you can hear the difference. Have students experiment through discovery learning. It's also good to allow the student to think about what sound they wish to produce first, and then decide what physical gesture best produces that sound. There are many physical gestures that students use throughout Succeeding at the Piano, Piano Success. They will use them for all intermediate and advanced works as well. Those where we focus on how the key is approached, how it is played, and how the student releases from the keys are called touch releases. Now, follow me in learning about the kickoff touch release. The kickoff has a sharp attack and a short release. Your hand, wrist, and forearm and knuckle bridge play and work as one playing unit. The kickoff touch release starts on the key, and then the student moves forward and off the key. We always wish to strive for healthy, body-friendly technique so that we prevent any physical problems later on. The kickoff can create a variety of different sounds, from forte to pianissimo. It all depends on how close the fingers are to the keys, as well as how quickly the playing apparatus and fingers move toward the keys when they play and off of the keys. So I'm going to take you through various pieces, and you can enjoy listening to them and the exaggerations of the touch releases so that you can hear the different sounds. Obviously, this is the way to create students that are extraordinary players instead of just average players. So let's go ahead and begin with a wonderful piece called The Masked Bandit, and it's in grade 4 of Succeeding at the Piano and Piano Success. The Masked Bandit is a terrific piece with a really great illustration of a bandit with a mask on and a sword. Takes you back to the Three Musketeers, or Zorro, if you've ever seen that movie. So this particular piece is full of physical gestures, which I call touch releases. They create all kinds of different staccato sounds. The very first measure, I could use some really basic woodpecker number 1 staccato touch releases. You notice the hand, the forearm, then the wrist, all are played as one unit, and when the student comes off of the keys, they come up to the same place where they started. The next measure is a great place for kickoffs. So kickoffs have the students start on the keys, and then the upper arm, the back, and the elbow is the power source to move the hand forward and off the keys. Back to woodpeckers, kickoffs, and then this entire second line can be used by kickoffs, and then students can drop and roll off the keys. Good. So if I were to use only woodpeckers here, well, if you like that sound, Okay, but it's a little bit too harsh for those just straight woodpeckers, and this wrists get really locked, so that's not good. If I use just push-offs, it would just take way too long, and it looks hilarious, doesn't it? Okay. So now going on, we do use some rotation in the left hand. Rotation I will talk about in another video. I actually call this just a physical gesture and not a touch release. And I know there's a point where the student is coming off the keys, but the physical gesture is one where the student learns to go side to side. Talk about that later. Ooh. It's a perfect place for a kickoff because it has to be quiet and very, very short. That one is a sforzando marked. Oh my gosh, so we could use even more sound and make it into a, what do you think? I hope you said a push off because the wrist pushes forward and off the keys. Oh my gosh, woodpecker, woodpecker, kickoff. It has a gorgeous sound going up in the air. And then these can all be kickoffs, 2, 3. And then maybe a woodpecker at the end, right? Woodpeckers, kickoffs, woodpeckers, kickoffs, bunch of kickoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can decide with your student through discovery learning what kind of sound they want to hear at the very, very last measure. So you notice what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I use really big push-offs at the end. And if they wanted to do some kickoffs, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually a smaller sound, isn't it? It's like a more introverted sound. So if you want a more introverted sound, then you would use a kickoff, touch release. And if you wanted to have a bigger sound that goes through the air, then a push-off touch release would be just perfect. So now you go ahead and try that.